So you just got pulled over. There were drugs in the car. Are they going to charge me with drug trafficking? Or are they going to charge me with possession? Well, it's going to be dependent on a lot of things. First of all, what's the quantity of drugs? The type of drugs? Are they separately packaged? Obviously, if we're talking a big brick kilo of cocaine, that's not for personal possession, and I'm pretty confident that alone is enough to hit you with aggravated trafficking. But there's the overall number of factors in play. Are these separately packaged? What's the quantity overall of the drugs, the type of drug? Are there other things attendant here under these circumstances that would give rise to the inference of drug trafficking? Are there scales? Is there a list of customers that you're providing it to? Is there a lot of cash as well? So there's a number of factors that law enforcement will look at in order to determine whether they're going to charge you with some form of drug trafficking or just simple possession. Can you be charged with drug trafficking if your defense is, I never sold anything? Well, it's not a very good defense if you've got kilos of cocaine stacked in the trunk of your car, or you've got 100 different little baggies of fentanyl and a bunch of cash, or you've got a scale and all kinds of marijuana weighed out. You may not have, quote unquote, made a sale yet, but there's an inference that the DA will rely upon that all of these circumstances give rise to the fact that you are trafficking in drugs. And for you to argue, I have never sold any of those drugs, is likely a fruitless defense. What are some of the signs that law enforcement looks at to determine whether or not to charge you with trafficking in drugs? They're looking at overall quantity, whether or not these drugs are packaged separately, the type of drugs, fentanyl usually at least this point nationally is the biggest concern, and what else is there? Large amounts of cash, scales, notebook indicating who your customer list is. Sometimes they may ask to look at your cell phone and they start looking through your text messages that you gave them permission to look at, and they can tell that there are orders coming in and orders being fulfilled by you. These are all things that law enforcement is going to look for. In general, is there a strategy to defending against a drug trafficking charge? Yes. That defense can include a negotiated outcome to get you out from underneath the mandatory minimum from an aggravated drug trafficking charge, say, which is an A and a mandatory minimum of 4 years in prison. Remember, I'm talking minimums, could be more. Down to a B, which is a 2-year mandatory minimum, or even a C felony, or in some cases, a misdemeanor possession. Those are things that could be negotiated. But are there some defenses? Yes. They're not my drugs is a common defense. You see that raised when there are multiple people in the car, or you're driving a car that doesn't belong to you and you have no knowledge of the drugs that are in the trunk. The drugs that are in the trunk of the car aren't obvious. They are not in a container belonging to you, like a backpack that also has your ID in it. So those are some legitimate defenses, which are, these drugs don't belong to me, therefore I cannot possibly be trafficking in drugs. If you've been charged with a drug crime, whether it's possession or trafficking in drugs here in Maine, federal or state, you need a legal team that knows how to navigate these waters to get you the very best possible result, whether that be through trial or a negotiated outcome. You need to call the attorneys at the Maine Criminal Defense Group now.